Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another session of book reading. Today, I hold one of the best sellers and the fourth position on the bestseller list, Finance for Non-Finance. Before we start the book reading session, let me give you a small background of why this subject is very dear to me and why we have made this as our mission for life. We all know that people from non-finance background struggle to manage their finances. They hit the reality when they get their first paycheck, and from then on they are all by themselves to manage their money on their own for lifetime. It's like asking you to fly a plane without any formal training. It's very risky. So our endeavor through our books, our videos and all other mediums is to educate you financially so that you don't outsource managing your own finances to somebody else and suffer because of inefficiencies of other people. So let me read out a small story from the 5th chapter of this book called Investments, Trees Where Money Will Grow. So here is a story of an admin assistant who loans money to a very big builder. So I am on page number 86 of this book. This is a real life story which has happened to me, and I ended up covering in this book because it carries a very, very strong and a powerful message. In my previous job, I was working with an investment banking company where I met this character called Paul. Paul was an admin assistant working for a minimum wage in our bank. He was responsible for admin stuff like stationery, filing, printouts, photocopies, etc. in our office. One fine evening, when I was working late, he came to me and sought my help. So here are the dialogues that happened between me and Paul. Paul, I need your assistance. Me, go ahead. Tell me, how can I help? Paul, with a lot of sacrifices, I had saved some 5 lakh rupees over last 8 years. You know, with salary like mine, such a saving is huge amount. Initially, all the money was lying in a bank, but with a view to make more money out of the same, I gave all my savings to the local builder in our area, who promised me the rate of 36% per annum. All was well for first 3 months, but then with oncoming recession and under various different pretexts, he started to delay interest payments. After paying me interest for 6 months, which I received only in 15 months, he stopped paying me altogether. Now I am stuck. Forget interest, I am worried that I may not be able to recover my principal amount. Can you help me with the problem? To this I replied, pardon my saying so, but Paul, you are such a moron. It is so clear that he was cheating you with a promise of high returns and eventually he would default. Don't tell me you didn't know this. Paul, I knew it at the back of my mind that he may default, but was not sure that he would do it with me. I am his distant relative and he knows my financial condition. I have heard of his stories cheating other people. But in greed, I thought somehow I would be spared. But now I realize how wrong I was. I am in a very bad shape. Please help me. To which I told him very straight, look Paul, let's get the matter straight. I will tell you the facts. If you are expecting sympathy, forget the money. Paul, don't be so harsh. Tell me a way out. Me, with the kind of person you are dealing with, force will not work. Moreover, you withdrawn the money and handed him over the cash, so it would be difficult to go legal with him as well. The only way I see is a continuous follow-up. I suggest you go to his office every day, spend a couple of hours there and cry in front of all his people. Let them know your hardships and create sympathy. Don't expect immediate results. Things may work, and I would stress on the word may. But remember one thing, whatever happens, how much ever time is invested, just don't quit. Paul, okay, thanks for the advice and don't worry, I'll give it my best shot. That money was not only hard earned but was painfully saved after a lot of sacrifices. I won't quit under any circumstances. After that evening, life was back to normal. I had forgotten everything about it. However, around 8 months later, One day, Paul came running to my cubicle. Me. What happened? Why are you in so much of a rush? Paul. I got to share with you your formula worked. What formula? What are you talking about? Can you elaborate? Paul. You remember that builder thing? I had told you that my hard-earned saving was stuck with a builder. Me. Yeah, what happened? Did he repay? Paul. He did, but not exactly. What do you mean? Paul said, I'll tell you. As per your plan, after leaving from our office, every evening I went to his office. I stayed there till they closed. I made sure I was the last person out every day and that everyone knew my story. First he ignored, then he got irritated. He did not get harsh with me because he knew that his people's sympathies were already with me. After 8 months of continuous follow-up, finally he called me in his cabin yesterday. He told me that he had no money to repay and asked me to forgo interest. I told him that it was unfair on his part to expect such things when he was in default. Finally, he opened the drawer, took out the blueprint of his new project, a shopping mall in the outskirts of the city. He said he would give me 2 small shops, one on the first and other on the second floor against all my outstandings. I said okay. So there we are. Let me show you the plan. Me. What? You settle for the shop in outskirts? Do you know that the area he is talking about is a jungle? Even today, people are afraid to venture out that side after dark. You are a moron and you'll always remain one. Paul. But he said there was a big future potential. A reputed builder is building an entire township just opposite the mall. Me. Oh man, don't tell me you fell for his marketing talks again. I have heard of these stories before. These are all castles in the air. You know the story of New International Airport near my locality? I bought my house 7 years ago hoping to move closer to the airport. I paid almost the same rate as in town at that point in time. Now I feel the pain when I travel 40 miles to the old airport every time. Paul. But he said take it or leave it. Me. You shouldn't have budged. You could have stuck to your demands. Money or nothing. Look, 8 months of hard work brought him to the negotiation table. But with what result? Again he took you for a royal ride. Paul. Have a look at the plan at least. Me. On looking at the floor plan. Oh God, what a blunder. Paul. Why? What happened? Me. Boss, these shops that you've got are so small that 3 people can hardly stand inside them. And look carefully. These are not shops as designed by the architects. These are just loft outside washrooms, which ideally are a part of common area but have been marked as a shop by making an additional wall. You are cheated again. Paul. But how can he do this to me? That's so unfair. Now what would I do with these? Me. All this you should have thought before saying a yes to such a measly deal. Now, what is the point of crying over spilled milk? Paul. Sadly, I guess poor people like me are destined to bad luck for life. Me. Don't worry. Things will work out for better. Always remember, whatever happens, happens for good. Paul. Anyways, thanks for all the help. You are a true friend. Few years passed and I moved on from that company. I had completely forgotten about the entire episode. This was the time when I founded my own training company and it was growing fast. I was on a training assignment to train employees of a bus manufacturing company with its plant in Bangalore. Suddenly, at the airport, I saw a guy with sunglasses, t-shirt and a denim waving at me and came running. I was surprised and wondered who would it be. Hey, recognized me? Me. Sorry, your face looks familiar but I could not place it. Maybe a lot of travel, training and meeting new people makes it challenging for me to remember every person I come across. Hey, I'm Paul, your ex-colleague, investment banking company, remember? Oh, Paul, oh my God, after all these years. Where are you, man? Long time no see. And what's all this jazz? What are you up to these days? Paul, who, me? I'm into share trading, property, investments and all that. What are you doing here? Me? You know, I founded this training company and I conduct workshops for corporate employees in finance domain. So I have a training program in Bangalore. Paul, so you are still working? Me, with a slight frown. What do you mean? Where are you headed? No, don't get me wrong. By the way, I am headed to Goa with family. Holiday, you see. I make it a point that I take a break once in a while. You know, it's quite important to give time to the family as well. After all, for whom do we create all these wealth? Wealth? Investment? Share market? Property? What are you talking about? I thought you handled administration for a bank. Oh yes, but that was long back. Me. Listen, I still can't place it. Can you tell me clearly what are we talking about? Paul, you remember those 2 shops that I got from the builder? Yes, I do. Those loft next to the washroom in a mall amidst the jungle. Paul, that area has now become the fastest growing area in the suburb. The rates of property have tripled in last 4 years. The township is now fully occupied and there are no wild animals around. It is one of the most happening area and has a nightlife as well. The mall has a pub and a disc where youngsters hang out on the first floor. On the second floor, it has a shopping mall which stocks everything of a daily use. But tell me, what happened to your shops? Paul, you remember Mr. Rao, our bank's chief operating officer? Oh yes, I know, jolly old fellow with white French beard. Paul, he asked me why I was so down. I told him my story and he promised to do something. A few months later, he called me in his cabin and said that they are expanding their ATM network. He said that he was looking at malls in upcoming suburbs. He said that he would take one of my shops for putting up an ATM. He offered me a rent of rupees 80,000 a month with a lock-in of 3 years with 10% increment per annum. That's how my first floor shop got rented. For my second floor shop, he helped me approach a foreign bank which had newly entered into our country. They were also looking to expand their ATM network. Mr. Rao got my shop placed at 1 lakh per month with a 5-year lock-in period and an increment of 10% per annum. So I get around couple of lakhs per month as rent. All I do is learn how to invest that money in shares, commodities, gold, property, etc. I no longer have to do my day job. I have planned to acquire few more such small shops at throwaway prices from builders. Let me know if you come across any. Nowadays, ATMs are quite in demand due to influx of debit and credit cards. I have heard that plastic money drives the economy. But I must thank you. Without you, all this wouldn't have been possible. After all, it was your idea that clicked. Otherwise, I would have been doomed to remain an admin assistant all my life. Anyways, what about you? Have you created any assets? How has been your journey so far? Me. Listen dude, my boarding announcement has just happened. I got to go. We'll catch up with you later. Paul. Bye. See you later. Be in touch and let me know if you come across any more shops. Me. Surely. Bye. Well, frankly, I didn't even feel like updating a contact exchange with him after that meeting. I was not able to see him eye to eye. Here is a person who was classified as a moron by me, has created enough assets for him that his passive income from those assets fund his entire lifestyle with an increment of 10% per annum. And what am I doing? Still a corporate slave? I couldn't sleep that night. Something changed in me. I was hurt. Deeply hurt. What factors, according to you, are responsible for his success? Luck? My advice? His follow-up and hard work? Or his humility? Think what got him to this stage. Think what he started doing once he reached at this stage. Did he stop learning? How did his priorities and interests change? Much more stories and thoughts like this. Grab your copy today. Finance for Non-Finance. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Finance Tube. In that case, what you end up doing is you end up taking a huge piece of a small pie, whereas you would have been much better off taking a smaller piece of a bigger pie. Because when you go for your next round of funding, a well-known PE can give you much more leverage and valuation at that point in time rather than today.